Moving forward, children in Pennsylvania who have fallen behind in school because of remote learning could get a do-over. Today, the state Senate approved a bill to give parents the option of allowing their child to repeat a grade. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight at 7:30. I'm Megan Schiller. This bill would also give parents the option to extend special education enrollment. So what happens next? Joining me now live over Zoom to talk about it in depth is Pennsylvania State Senator Camera Bartolotta, the co-sponsor on the bill. Senator, thank you for joining me tonight.
My pleasure, Megan. Thanks for having me.
Without this legislation in place, who historically has made these decisions about holding a child back?
It's been a little bit difficult to hold children back for a whole year in the past because it really is up to the principal of the school where your child goes and the parents, and you can talk about it and try to get your child to repeat a grade, but you really had to prove that there were classes that they had not succeeded in and possibly failed those classes. But right now we're facing 2020 where so many of our kids really lagged behind. They barely made it. A lot of kids were not successful with virtual learning, and our teachers did just a phenomenal, heroic job, but some students are just not cut out for that. And lastly, so many of the schools in my district in particular are very rural, and a lot of these parents don't even have access to broadband.
What types of conversations were you having with parents that influenced the legislation as it exists now?
So many of the parents that I have spoken with over the last year were so concerned about their kids not being prepared for not just the next class, but if they were going to graduate or if they were seeking academic scholarships in the future, this really was limiting their access to those things. So this just gives parents an opportunity to really talk with their children, to know where they stand academically and have the option for them to repeat this last school year.
I was also curious, do you have to show that your child did not do well? Can you just decide even if your kid wasn't struggling maybe as much as other kids were struggling?
This gives parents the option to just say, yes, I want my child to repeat that school year, the 2020 school year, because our parents know the abilities of their kids. They've been around them a lot this last year, helping them virtually if need be, and they really understand what struggles they faced with the pandemic, and not just whether they went to school full-time or not, or partially or hybrid. It was a lot of stress for these kids, and the stress they felt at home as well. So this is a chance for parents who really think their children need to repeat that school year. They have that opportunity.
It was also stressful for parents of students enrolled in special education. What does this bill do for them?
So many of the resources were not available to our special needs kids this whole past year because you need to be present in the classroom around those resources, around occupational therapy or speech therapy or any of the other needs that these special needs kids have. And you know what? They need socialization. They need to be around support. And in many cases, that just wasn't available. So we don't want to see those special needs kids just have no ability to relearn what they missed last year and just go forward. But the great thing also about this legislation is that these kids who age out at 21, if that happened during 2020, they're able to go ahead and continue their education, retake that year without needing to move on at 21.
Definitely a relief for some of those parents, for all the parents involved, if it's something they're interested in. Senator Bartolotta, thank you for your time.